Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we are going to solve the question 141, which is the linked list cycle. The solution is going to be focused on a slow and fast pointer approach. So without further ado guys, let's move to the board. Here we are. We've got question 141 linked list cycle, and the question states, given the head of a linked list, return true if the list has a cycle and false otherwise. A list has a cycle if a node can be reached more than one time by following the next pointer. Super. So of course the first node is the head of the list, and if we see that test case, it's gonna be more easy to understand that visually. We can clearly see that that linked list has a cycle, because when we reach that node, the node points to the second node of the linked list instead of pointing to a null position. Super. So now how we're going to solve that exercise, guys? We are going to instantiate two pointers. Let me grab the pen and let's go for green. And both of them, they are going to point to initially to the head of that linked list. And I'm going to call them F and S. I'm not going to use actually fast and slow pointer. I'm going to use first and second, just to have something different here. Come on. Yep. Alright. And what we are going to do is we are going to loop over that linked list, and we are going to move our two pointers 1 and 2 positions to the right respectively. So what does that mean? That means that we are going to move the first pointer 2 positions to the right. So after the first iteration, the first pointer is going to be here, and the second pointer just 1 position to the right, so they are going to be here. Sweet. And in the loop, we are going to test if the second pointer and the first pointer are equal, because if they are equal, that means that they point to the same location. So we have a linked list. So we have a cycle in the linked list. Super. So now what we are going to do is again move the first pointer 2 positions to the right. So after the second iteration, the first pointer is going to point here, and the second pointer just 1 position to the right. Of course they are not equal, so they don't point to the same element, so we just continue the loop, and the first pointer is going to point 2 positions to the right, and the second pointer just 1. And as you can see, the first and the second pointer have matched, they point to the same node, so that means that they are equal, and the linked list has a cycle. Sweet. Now, what are we going to do for the case that the linked list does not have a cycle? This is actually the condition of the while loop that we are going to create in order to be able to be sure actually that the first pointer is always within bounds. Sweet. Let's move to the LeetCode website where we are going to implement that algorithmically. As we can see, the LeetCode website has been updated with the new features. I like that bit a lot, to be honest. Anyways, what we are going to do, guys, we said that we are going to instantiate 2 pointers, the first pointer and the second pointer, and both of them they are going to point initially to the head of the linked list. Super. Now we need to loop through our linked list, and here we need the condition for the case that we don't have a cycle. And if you remember, with a linked list, what we do is when we have a pointer actually with a linked list, we loop over the linked list until the first pointer does not reach the null position, because by reaching the null position it means that we are at the end of the linked list. 1 position after the end actually. Alright, so while first, and because we have also the second, I'm going to say and first loop next. Then move the first pointer 2 positions to the right, so .next, and the second pointer just one position to the right. And here is where we are going to check whether the first pointer and the second pointer point to the same node in the linked list, and we are going to do that just with an if statement. Triple equal is always safer. Then we are going to return true, because now we have a cycle in the linked list. And if that while loop is actually finished, that means that we don't have a linked list and we just return false. Super. Let's run this code. Accept it, and if we submit this code, fingers crossed. Alright, sweet. Alright, I have never seen that layout before. Cool, that looks good. Super, that's all for today, guys. If you like this video, give that a thumbs up. Any questions that you have, just pop them in the comment section, and share the video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that. Support this channel. See you in the next one. Cheers.